All right, guys, what's going down, man? This is your boy, DJ Just J with Just Dimes ENT, your humble host of The Subtle You Dig. Guys, what's going down, man? Today is July the 11th, which is Wednesday, middle of the week. We're going to get it in. We got a couple of shows lined up for you guys. We just did one as an update, and this is going to be a full show. It's going to be a long show. So when you guys come in, do me a favor and hit the thumbs up so that way you can let other people know that we are live. So even though it's going to be a long show, you'll have the ability to come in and then come back. We'll probably still be streaming. And if you want to, we'll probably do a panel also. So if you guys want to get on the panel, shoot me an email at thesubtleyoudig@gmail.com, right? So that way I can get you guys on this panel. I can make sure and send you guys the link. Also, if you guys want to contribute to the show, thumbs up is an easy, free way to do it. If you guys have the ability financially, then you can shoot us a PayPal donation, which is paypal.me/DJJustJOK. Also, shout out to the patrons that are already over there on patreon.com/DJJustJOK. And we also have Venmo available as well. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and give everybody a shout out that's in the chat as of right now. Then we're going to play our intro song, which I'm kind of confused about which one I want to play. Maybe you guys can give me an idea. But after that, we're going to go ahead and start the show. So without any further ado, here we go. All right, for the people that like the timestamp, want to timestamp the show right here. This is where the show starts. I'm going to cut all the rest of that out in the beginning. So that way all you have to do is just come in and watch the show. This is your host of the evening, DJ Just J. I'm bringing you guys a fourth installment of this show. And this show is actually about a beautiful little young girl right there on my screen, and her name was Tanasia McCloud. She is posthumous because of her own mother's doing, and also because of her girlfriend's doing. And they both were sentenced today. We were asking for justice. We did get justice. But some people feel like we didn't get enough justice, but I want you guys to decide that, okay? So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna give you guys a quick background story, and then I gotta start playing the video kind of quick because it's very, very long, okay? So here we go. The two women were sentenced for the murder of 5-year-old Tanasia on Tuesday afternoon. Like I said, I was asleep. I could not do the story because I wanted to show the courtroom live, and I couldn't do it. I was just too tired. I helped a friend move. Then I had to go to work, got home, tried to eat, and just fell out. I didn't do a thing else. So I'm having to try to do this now, and we're going to recap. Now, the child's mother, whose name is Tequila Crump, who is age 28, and let me get this beast back on the screen, if you don't mind. Let me see if I can get her mug on the screen, because I want to make sure that you guys can differentiate who's the mother and who's the girlfriend. The 28-year-old mother is the one on the left with these things hanging out her head, looking like Hellraiser, right? Looking real crazy over there. That's the mother. She's age 28. She was found guilty of, get this, reckless endangering children and homicide. Because they were charged with two different things, and I'm going to read that to you guys. The mother on the left, this one right here, closest to me, and I prefer not to be that close to her. Her name is Tequila Crump, age 28, was found guilty of reckless homicide and endangering children. I'm sorry, Phenom said, who was that said that? Hold on. Marcus, I'm sorry, Marcus said Golly, said old pinhead looking ass. Woo-wee. That's funny, man. I normally don't try to bust out laughing what the chat says because sometimes, yeah, there we go. Thank you, E-Goose is me. We're going to stick. Where's my pen at? I got a pen. Hold on. There we go. We're going to put a pen. We're going to put a pin in that, no pun intended, and we're going to come back to that. This story is not funny, but we got to find some stuff that's funny about it because it's very sad. Now, the problem was the mother who is the person that we want held the most accountable, because the mother is the one that is responsible for life, and in this case is responsible for her own daughter's death. And she received 13 years in prison for reckless homicide and endangering children. Even though she was the one that allowed this to happen, even though that she perpetuated this to happen, and she was the one that initially had this happen, and she is the one that has been doing this to this 5-year-old girl for some time now. Take your pen, put it in there. We'll come back to it. Ursula Owens, age 38, 10 years older, who was her quote-unquote girlfriend, live-in girlfriend, is on the far right-hand side. That critter on the far right-hand side, her name is Ursula Owens. I don't know if you guys remember Ursula from, what was that movie? Damn, what was that movie? The Little Mermaid. She really looks like Ursula, like all jokes aside, she really does. She was convicted of murder, reckless homicide, and felonious assault. Okay? She was sentenced to 25 years to life to prison. I don't know. What's up, Notorious B? I don't know why both of them weren't sentenced with the exact same thing, but for some reason they weren't. Put a pin. We'll come back. Okay? Now, 5-year-old Tanasia McCloud was taken to University Hospitals. Excuse me. 5-year-old Tanasia McCloud was taken to University Hospitals in full arrest on March 17th of 2017. Owens told investigators the girl had a seizure, but doctors said that she suffered from severe head and brain trauma. Prosecutors said there was also evidence of older injuries, and Tanasia died a few days later, as I already told you guys. Okay? During the 2-week trial, Owens testified, Owens' teen son, whose name is Rayvon, who we didn't get a chance to talk to, but we got a chance to talk to his guardian. So shout out to her. We might be able to get her back on the show here by tomorrow. She wasn't available today, but maybe we can get her here tomorrow. But he testified as I think he's 15, maybe 16 years old now. He testified that Tanasia was beaten, and he tried to revive her as blood poured from her mouth, which is sad. This is her older brother. Dominique Crump, the little girl's uncle, said he also offered to help his sister, but Tequila refused. He described a time when they visited him in North Carolina. He said he bought clothes, diapers, and wipes for Tanasia and reported the issues to Child Protective Services in Virginia, where Tequila lived at the time. And I'm going to let you guys know something. Rayvon's caretakers also reported the mom to Child Protective Services. But it's just like I tell you guys all the time. Yes, Nate Wynn, yes, somebody actually did do that with this. Man. Yeah, no pun intended by saying man, but yeah. I'm going to keep these pictures rolling because I also have some more pictures of Tanasia in there. You know, beautiful little girl. But there's also, there was like a picture of their reaction. That's the, can you even call her a mother? That's the person that gave birth to Tanasia right there on the screen. And that is not her. I don't know why that's in there. I have to go in there and get rid of that, if y'all don't mind. Because that's a different story. And it looks like this thing is repeating a lot of my pictures. So let me swap that out because that was a different story. And let me see, is he even, yeah, he is in there. Okay. So let me move him over. So that was my bad. Dietrich was a different story. So here we go. Boom. Those two right there. And you guys have got to see the courtroom reactions. I mean, it's like enough to make you want to like do like some people have done and hop over the table on these two. Okay? Now, when Dominique Crump learned that his niece was in the hospital, he came to Cleveland and saw her terrible living conditions. Tanaja's room was cold with no bed and crumbling walls. I'm gonna read that again. Come on, guys, because not everybody can be wrong. They tried to say that Rayvon was lying. They tried to say that he he wasn't clear about what the actual story was, the actual living conditions. They actually said that they wasn't giving this little girl water at all because the little girl would wet herself. She's 5 years old. That's what she's gonna do. Right? You have to train a child in the way that you want them to go. And you don't train them by beating them. Any parent, and I'm going to continue to keep saying this, any parent that physically has to correct their child is not a good parent. If you have to physically discipline your child or punish your child physically, you are not a good parent. Discipline is the word that we want to use, and you can use corrective action with your mind if you're a good parent. If you're not familiar with this, then like I say, this is something you might need to reconsider as far as being a parent. All right? Because I don't have to hit my kid. I don't have to beat my kid. I don't have to take turns pummeling my kid to get my daughter to do what it is that I want her to do. I talk to her and I reason with her, and me and my daughter have had a great relationship since the moment she came from her mom. Because I cared enough to work with her, to talk with her, and cultivate a loving relationship with my daughter. I don't know if you guys know this or not, but they have parenting classes, man. I know in the black community, we think that because we were raised to be beat, and that's just the way it's supposed to be, that's not the way it's supposed to be at all. But we also have to look and see that the black community has a hell of a lot of problems. Our community sucks. So we can't say that beating and spanking is making us better when the statistics prove that we are going downhill without fathers in the households. Okay? Lastly, he said, I know that Tequila lied to us and Tanaja was suffering immeasurable abuse, Dominique Crump said. But like I said, they did what they were supposed to do. They reported it. That's all you legally can do. You can't snatch this girl from the mother's house. You cannot do that. Because you could be charged with kidnapping, and you could end up causing yourself to end up doing jail time behind something that you probably shouldn't be doing jail time for. Okay? Now let me see. Was I missing anything else? Told you guys this. They quote this and they say, this is a horrible case of child abuse, which is the county prosecutor, Michael O'Malley, said in a news press release. And he said, these women had no regard for this young life and need to be held accountable for their actions. Okay? So I don't know that, I think 25yrs-Life is accountable. I don't think that 13 years is. And that's why I'm worried about Rayvon, because once his mom gets out of jail, and you got to see her face, man, outside of these pictures that y'all are seeing right here, I got to show y'all what they look like in the courtroom. All right, so without any further ado, these videos are going to be long. I need you guys to be patient, and I need you guys to listen with an open heart, okay? Because these videos are going to be kind of long because I'm going to show you the actual courtroom footage. Federal law allows citizens to reproduce, distribute, or exhibit portions of copyrighted motion pictures, videotapes, or video discs under certain circumstances without the authorization of the copyright holder. This is called fair use and is allowed for purposes of criticism, news reporting, teaching, and parody, which doesn't infringe of copyright under 17 U.S.C. 107. Thank you very much, Just Jay. Now, what I want to show you guys is I want to show you that face right there. That. Man, that's the way she looked in court. You guys have got to see this. So here we go. Without any further ado, this is the first video. It's about 20 minutes long, and the next video is about 13 minutes long. So just bear with us. Be patient. Here we go. see if I can speed this up just a little bit. There they go. That's the girlfriend right there.
Is everyone set?
Now keep in mind that these two people are responsible for killing a 5-year-old. And I want y'all to look at their faces. Yes, they're huge. Yes. I want you guys to look at them in their faces and let me know if they look like they're remorseful at all. Okay? That's the only time I'm a posit. Maybe.
We are here on the record in case number 615-579A and case number 615-579B. Case A being the State of Ohio versus Ursula Owens. Case B being the State of Ohio versus Dominique Crump. We are here for the purpose of sentencing. Is there any reason why we should not proceed with sentencing today?
On behalf of Ms. Owens, no, Your Honor. I'm sorry, Your Honor, my client is present.
Is there any reason why we should not proceed with sentencing today?
We're ready to proceed, Your Honor. Also, for the record, Your Honor, myself and Mr. Marine were assigned my client. Mr. Marine is unable to make it today. I've talked to my client about it. She knows that she's entitled to 2 attorneys, but she will wait after the purpose of this hearing and go forward with myself. Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay. And you're okay with that, Ms. Crump?
Yes. Yes, ma'am.
Thank you. Have both parties had the opportunity to review the pre-sentence investigation?
Yes, Your Honor. Yes, Your Honor.
Yes, Your Honor.
I have also been
Hit the
provided 2
thumbs up,
letters.
please.
One was from Mr. Revon Owens and the other one was from Ms. Sierra Giles. I have reviewed those for the purpose of sentencing. Prior to coming out on the record, there was discussion with counsel as well as the State of Ohio regarding merger of the counts. There's been an agreement with Ms. Owens regarding merger. However, there is not agreement with Ms. Crump. We will put those facts on the record, but first we'll start with the State of Ohio.
Thank you, Your Honor. The state's position is that Ms. Crump was found guilty of reckless homicide, which was a lesser included offense of counts 1 and 2, which were that of aggravated murder, and endangering children, counts 5 through 9, 12, and 15. The reckless homicide and child endangering children in counts 5 through 9 do not merge because the offense was committed separately and with a separate animus, and that is pursuant to the Petoskey case. Crump's lack of action in stopping Owens from beating Tanasia prior to Tanasia becoming unconscious, which was a reckless homicide, is separate from a failure to provide care which caused the serious physical harm to Tanasia, which was the endangering children. Additionally, each offense was committed with a different animus. Crump allowed her daughter to be severely disciplined by Owens. Again, the reckless homicide then endangered her child's life by then failing to provide care in the hopes that she would bounce back so that they wouldn't have to deal with children and family services. Again, going under child endangering. And that is the state's position. There was a separate animus. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Morgan?
Yes, Your Honor. As it relates to Ms. Crump, we would submit to the court that counts 1 and 2, the reckless homicide convictions, should merge with counts 5, 6, and 7, child endangering counts. Under the analysis in State v. Ruff, there's a 3-pronged analysis, and I think when you look at that case, Your Honor, it's all one act, and it is our position that those counts should merge. Thank you.
Is there any position with regard to counts 9, 12, or 15?
what the prosecutor is putting forth. In other words, I believe.
And I have to apologize about this audio. The audio is just garbage. I don't know what the hell I don't know if they're recording this with like a cell phone or what. And I know they're in the courtroom. I know they don't have microphones, but hell, the last time when I showed the X case, I mean, you could hear everything in that courtroom. But this, I'm sorry, I've turned it up about as loud as I can, and hopefully you guys can hear most of what's going on. We're already halfway through with the video.
12, 13, and 14 merge, but they did not merge with count 15, and we agree with that.
Okay. We only have counts 12 and 15, so at this time, the court is going to find that counts 1 and counts 2 merge for the purpose of sentencing, counts 5 through 8 merge for the purpose of sentencing, counts 9, 12, and 15 do not merge. The objection is noted on behalf of the defense. With regards to Owens, there was an agreement between the parties that counts 1 through 8 merge for the purpose of sentencing. The state will elect to sentence Ms. Owens on count 3, the murder charge, which carries a potential penalty of 15 to life. Count 9 does not merge. Count 12 does not merge, and neither does count 15. Count 9 carries a potential penalty of 9 to 36 months. Count 12 carries a potential penalty of 2 to 8 years. And counts 15 carries a potential penalty of 9 to 36 months. Is that correct?
Yes, Your Honor. Yes, Your Honor.
Yes, Your Honor.
On behalf of the state?
For sentencing, Your Honor?
Yes.
On behalf of Tanasia McCloud, she is going to be represented by her aunt and uncle that have traveled here to be with us, Dominique Crump and Victoria Crump.
And I want you guys to hear this because this is actually going to be pretty good.
Good afternoon. Sir, if you could state your name and then spell it for the record.
My name is Dominique Crump. First name Dominique, last name Crump.
Thank you. Please.
And these statements are kind of important. I heard part of this, but you guys got to hear this, okay? Here we go.
Good afternoon, Your Honor, and everyone that came out in support of justice for my niece, Tanasia Nicole McCloud. Thank you for the opportunity to speak on her behalf and my family. My name is Dominique Crump. I am Tequila's eldest brother. We grew up in a loving single-parent home in Charlotte, North Carolina, with our mother, our brother Jamal.
Did y'all hear that? This is Tequila Crump's own brother. The mother that was responsible for killing the 5-year-old, this is her brother. I didn't even realize this. Yep. He's getting ready to, everybody's telling on his sister. Holy hell. I did not realize that. That's her brother. The woman, that's the mother that is responsible for all this. Let me see if I can show her on the screen again. Her. That's her brother. Block 229, you can actually look it up. It's actually on Cleveland 19 News. So don't be here watching it. Go to their webpage. Because I'm going to continue to pause it whenever I feel necessary. Why? Because I can. Okay? But if y'all want to watch it without pausing, go to Cleveland 19 News. Simple. But that's her brother getting ready to tell against her. Here we go.
To address the court.
Hi.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon. Sir, if you could state your name and then spell it for the record.
My name is Dominique Crump. First name Dominique, last name Crump.
Thank you. Please.
Good afternoon, Your Honor, and everyone that came out in support of justice for my niece, Tanasia Nicole McCloud. Thank you for the opportunity to speak on her behalf and my family. My name is Dominique Crump. I am Tequila's eldest brother. We grew up in a loving single-parent home in Charlotte, North Carolina, with our mother, our brother Jamal, and our baby sister, Shanita, who passed away at the age of 5. My mother worked tirelessly to provide us with everything that we needed and most of our wants. Our environment was warm, safe, and clean.
Pause.
When I first learned
Sorry, I'm just being an ass. But I want you guys to understand that he said that they grew up in a loving home and everything. This is the brother that grew up in the same house that she got, so that way that they can't make excuses for how their parents raised them.
Our baby sister, Shanita, who passed away at the age of 5. My mother worked tirelessly to provide us with everything that we needed and most of our wants.
They were raised by their mother, no father. Yep, thank you, Rick Rooster. Hashtag, where's the father? Hashtag, single parent household again. Pause.
Our environment was warm, safe, and clean. When I first learned my sister was pregnant with Tanasia, I wondered how she would be able to take care of her when she could barely take care of herself.
Y'all hear that? Pause. Let's rewind. Right here.
Ultimately, Tequila moved to Lynchburg, Virginia during her pregnancy, where she chose to give birth alongside with her partner at the time.
You heard that? Oh my God. I would not have caught that if I hadn't have paused. Y'all heard that? This is one thing that Tommy talks about all the time. So what she did was she was having sex with a dude, got pregnant by a dude, and then before she even had the kid, was already with her girlfriend. Y'all might not have caught that. I said, we need Tommy to do this. You're not even exciting. Well, out of 223 people that are watching, Aaron, you would make the 222nd person in here. So you can actually just hit the exit button. I don't think I'm that exciting, but 220 people think I am. Just not you, and that's okay. So before she even had the kid, she already had a different partner. Is that not what Tommy talks about all the time? She was pregnant and became a lesbian. Listen at what he said.
Alongside with her partner at the time.
Back it up just a hair. Right here.
It was warm, safe, and clean. When I first learned my sister was pregnant with Tanasia, I wondered how she would be able to take care of her when she could barely take care of herself.
Put a pin. Come back to that.
Ultimately, Tequila moved to Lynchburg, Virginia during her pregnancy.
She moved to Lynchburg, Virginia during her pregnancy,
where she chose to give birth alongside with her partner at the time.
Where she chose to give birth to her partner at the time. So that means they were together before she had the kid. Matter of fact, you know what? Somebody said rape. I think that they were trying to claim that Tequila did get raped. They were trying to say that person right there got raped. Her brother. Just thought I'd throw that out there.
When I heard that she had given birth, I left Maryland, where I had a 3-month-old baby myself, with my in-laws to come check on her in Virginia. While I was still worried, I found comfort in knowing that Tequila's partner at the time showed genuine love and concern for the baby. Your Honor, when Tanasia came into the world, she was surrounded with people that loved and cared about her. Unfortunately, my sister, her mother, and the person that was in place to protect her and love her the most failed to keep her safe and place her in a stable environment. Tequila was always on the move, bouncing from state to state, partner to partner. Many people along the way tried to help Tanasia, give her the environment that she needs, and Tequila turned us all down. We all knew that Tanasia deserved better and wanted to provide that for her. The most time I spent with Tanasia in her short life was when she was 14 months old, and I sent a bus ticket to Virginia for her to come and spend Thanksgiving with me and my family in Maryland. I picked Tequila up from the bus station. Both she and Tanasia were dirty and smelled. Tanasia's clothes were wet and she was shivering cold. She didn't have a coat. Tequila had no diapers or wipes. She came with a bag of dirty clothes and cigarettes in her pocket. I immediately took her to the store to get clothes with the money that my mom provided for them. Tequila was upset that I didn't give her the cash. I gave Tequila some of my own.
Whoa! Did y'all catch that? Jeez. Oh, God. Oh, my God. If y'all have ever dealt with somebody on drugs, then y'all know exactly what he just said. I know we have some smart people here, but I don't think that too many of us have ever had a crackhead in the family, or somebody on drugs, or somebody that drinks, or somebody that just outright is just garbage with their money, with how they manage their finances. Did y'all hear that? He said, #pause whenever I want, right? What he said was that Tequila got mad because he didn't give her the money when he actually bought her the things that she needed. Tommy talks about that and says that these women will buy what they want and beg for what they need. And he said that he went and bought her what she needed and she was pissed. Did y'all catch that? Here we go.
Thanksgiving with me and my family in Maryland.
Listen.
I picked Tequila up from the bus station. Both she and Tanasia were dirty and smelled. Tanasia's clothes were wet and she was shivering cold. She didn't have a coat. Tequila had no diapers or wipes.
She had no coat, had no diapers or wipes.
She came with a bag of dirty clothes and cigarettes in her pocket.
Dirty clothes and cigarettes. So cigarettes are more important than what you need for your kid. Let's keep going.
I immediately took her to the store to get clothes with the money that my mom provided for them.
So her mom sent him with money. And he took her to the store, the mother, Tequila Crump, the gay woman, the big gay woman with the pinhead. He took Pinhead to the store and he bought her clothes and stuff.
Tequila was upset that I didn't give her the cash. I gave Tequila some of my own son's diapers, wipes, and supplies to help her get by. During the week that they were with us, my wife, my mother-in-law, and I witnessed a lot of verbal abuse and neglect. I never imagined in a million years that we would be where we are today, but I know that my sister was struggling and needed help. I knew Tanasia needed more. When I took Tequila to the train station, I tried to talk to her about what I observed. Tequila told me how stressed she was and how she needed a break from Tanasia. I explained that Tanasia was her sole responsibility and she needed to find better ways to cope and care for her. As a parent, you do not get a break from parenting. That's your sole responsibility. After I put them on a train and back to Virginia, I could not stop thinking about my niece. I made the decision to call Child Protective Services in Lynchburg, Virginia, and I explained my observations.
Now, what the hell else was this man supposed to do? He called Child Protective Services, called the state, and reported what he saw. Because not only do I know that's a fact, because this is stuff you can actually research and look up, but the woman who was Rayvon's legal guardian, which is Tanasia's brother, also reported them to CPS. Let's keep going. But I think the brother knows he should have did more. Okay, let me see. We all need to go the extra mile. Okay, great. This is a great pause. Let's take a pause for the cause real quick. Let's ask the question. 250 people watching, please hit the thumbs up. Let's ask Deion Sams. I want to address what you said, and I want to see if we can come up with an answer. He said he should have did more. For everybody that thinks that the brother should have did more, say something in the chat. Raise your hand or say yes, he could have did more. If you feel like that's all he could have did, put the shruggy shoulders in. Like, what else was he supposed to do? Matter of fact, we'll do it like this. Raise your hand or put a 5 in the chat if he could have did more. If there was nothing else that he could have did besides calling Child Protective Services, as everybody else did, put a pause in the chat. How about that? Pause it if y'all feel like he did all he could do. If y'all feel like he could have did more, say yes or put a 5 in the chat. Miss June Bennett says yes. Cynthia said yes. Ladyfoot said yes. Breon said yes. Mala said no. Okay. Deb said yes. Riley said yes. Dom said yes. Wow. Okay. Now a lot of people are saying pause. Okay, cool. So we're starting to get some on the other side of that too. I think the people that are saying he could have did more is outweighing how many people that said pause. I think we got more 5s than we do pauses. Afrodelica, well, see, that's what I'm saying. Legal, we're talking about from a legal standpoint, guys. What Afrodelica said is that would be kidnapping. Malaz KM 2010 also said it would be kidnapping. It would legally be kidnapping. So let's ask this question. What more was he supposed to do? And I'm with you guys. That just means that I think that y'all wish he could have did more. Y'all would have hoped that he would have tried to step out there more on a limb. Because keep in mind, that phone conversation that we had with Rayvon's caretaker also said that she wished she could have did more. So what's the solution? What does he do? Let's look in hindsight for a moment, and let's back up and let's say in that moment, if he know that little girl is suffering, what do you do? What do you do? What's the answer? Jason Gunn said kidnapping is a federal charge over the state lines. That is 100% correct. How many times have y'all seen where parents claim that the children were being abused and the father takes the kid across state lines and he's arrested? He needs to follow up and reach out to CPS. Larry, yes, I agree, but I'm telling you that they did. I just didn't know that the brother was also contributing. They followed up multiple times. Also, I want to remind you guys about a young lady that is now also dead, and her name was Anaya Day Clark. Or Anaya Day Garrett. I said Clark. Scratch that. Anaya Day Garrett. Anaya Day Garrett. Sierra Day's daughter that her and her boyfriend killed. Her father's name was Michael. Was Michael Garrett. I want to remind you guys that he filed multiple times, time after time after time after time after time. He followed up, and even up to 4 days before the court date. She didn't want to make it to the court date because she knew that she was going to lose. So what she did, her and her boyfriend murdered Anaya Day Garrett 4 days before the court date. Michael did the exact same thing. They were all following up. But so I want you guys to say what you're saying, but I'm just telling you what the fact is. That all of these people follow up. Okay, now this is the thing. None of your business said CPS is a failure to this country? I'll say no. You want me to tell you why? Whose responsibility is it to take care of these children and to make sure that these children have what they need and be protected? Is it CPS's responsibility to raise the children in the United States, or is it the parents? Which one? If y'all feel like it's CPS's fault, put a 5 in the chat. If y'all feel like the parents should be raising the children and it is not CPS's fault, put a pause in the chat. For the people that don't like me pausing the show. Whose responsibility? CPS, put a 5. The parents, and it's not CPS's fault, put a pause. Let's do that quickly. Put your votes in now. So that way we can go ahead and keep playing the show. We got some 5s. That's okay. Y'all are being honest. It's okay. I get it. We got a lot of pauses, a few 5s. Y'all might have missed what I was saying. I said, whose responsibility is it to raise the child and protect the child? It's the state's responsibility to raise the child, feed the child, clothe the child, house the child, bathe the child, potty train the child. It's the state's job to do all of that? Or is it the parents and not CPS's fault? Pause. I can admire the fact that y'all are being honest. But remember, we're talking about logic here. Logically, thank you. Nate Hester said it. CPS shouldn't have to exist. That's probably the best answer you can get. Dineska, I feel you said their role is to save the child. My point about it is that the child shouldn't have to be saved. Let's keep going. I think I made a pretty good point there, but we're going to open up the panel so you guys can talk about this, okay? So we got about 260 people watching. Hit the thumbs up. That'll let other people know that we're live. Guys, we're going to have to open up the panel because too many people were on the fence. Like half the people said it's the state's responsibility. The other half said it's the parents. So we're going to open up the panel. If y'all want to hop on this panel, email me at thesodayoudig@gmail.com.
My intentions were to see if there were any resources they could provide. I was told that no one had ever called before, so there was nothing they could do, but they would make a note of it. In the fall of 2016, I was notified by my mother of burns that Tanasia had suffered. Tequila told my mother and I that it was a result of her making her own bathwater. She said that Tanasia had special needs and was trying to make a big girl move. I took her word for it. For all the things that my sister is, I could not imagine that she would intentionally hurt her own child. My wife and mother-in-law told me that Tequila's story didn't add up. My wife, who is a social worker, tried to talk to Tequila. She became defensive but answered all the questions correctly. I know now that Tequila lied to us and that Tanasia was suffering imaginable abuse. At this time, I found comfort at knowing that Child Protective Services here was looking after her and checking in often. Several months later, I received a call from my mom telling me that Tanasia was in the hospital. Tequila told her that she had a seizure and was in a coma. She told my mom that she would give her time to get to Ohio before she pulled the plug. Tequila never called me or answered my calls. I finally got through to her through text messages. Again, I questioned her. The story that she told me didn't make sense. I wanted the truth. I wanted to know what happened to my niece. My sister accused me of not believing in her as a parent. Tequila, you were wrong. I believed that you were better than this. The next morning, in the wee hours, we learned through Facebook posts that my sister was being questioned in the non-accidental injuries and ultimate death of my niece. With more questions than answers, my wife and I took off for work, came to Cleveland looking for answers, and to get my niece back to Charlotte where she could be buried alongside my sister. Ironically, we had to wait for Tequila's permission to bury her. It was during this trip to Cleveland that we learned how much suffering that my niece endured the months leading to her death. I saw the house that they lived in. There was no bed in the room that she just slept in. It looked more like a jail cell than a bedroom. It was cold and the walls were literally crumbling in the room. There was a dresser and closet. There were crayon markings on the wall. I imagined my niece alone in the room, drawn on the walls and suffering. The room had a lock on the outside of the door and no knob on the outside. It was on the outside of the door, but no knob on the inside of the door where she could get out.
Y'all heard that? So they put her in a room where she couldn't open the door. There was a knob on the door from the outside, but not one on the inside, so she couldn't, as a 5-year-old, open the goddamn door to get out the damn door. What does that tell you? No bed. The room was cold. The walls were crumbling in. Ooh-wee. Man. Hashtag. I like that, Jason. Hashtag babies for benefits. I got like 4 people's emails so far. I'm adding you guys to. She already peed on herself. Yep. I'm adding you guys to the private chat. I'll ask you guys not to send the link out to anybody. The only way that they can get the link is if they email me for the panel link. That's the only way I'm letting anybody on my panel. So if I give you the link, do not pass it out to anyone. Because all I have to do is start a new panel. It's very easy to do. But I will get quite a bit upset if my link gets out to anybody that did not ask for it by way of my email address. Okay?
I know now that Tanisha spent a lot of time in that room with no food and water as punishment for being a child. The room that Ursula and Tequila slept in had a bed, dresser, and television. In the closet, we found a box of toys. They were toys that my mom sent for Tanisha. These toys were unopened and put away. It was as if Tequila intentionally deprived Tanisha of any joy. To give her those toys would cost her nothing. The house was cold and the horrors of what happened were all around. I know now that my niece was malnourished and sustained injuries over that time that went untreated. She suffered. She was isolated from her family and the outside world. She wasn't even in school. I'm here today for Tanisha, but I'm also here for my mother, Tanisha's grandmother. As Tanisha was laid clinging for her life, Tequila was on the phone talking to my mom about Easter dresses sizes.
I'm sorry, you're about.
Also, as a reminder, guys, the email address with the video that you're watching on the screen, the email address is just right above that, which is the@gmail.com. Type it into your email address, or I just tagged the gentleman and put it in the chat. So there's the email address, and I'm adding y'all in there right now.
Easter dress sizes. They were playing, it's around the time that Easter's coming, so my mom was preparing to buy clothes and things for her. She had no idea what had happened to her daughter. Tequila said nothing. These two women act as if nothing had happened. They act as if this brutal beating was nothing out of the ordinary, because it was not for them. This day was different because God finally said, enough is enough, and ended my niece's suffering. I have not got the courage to speak to my sister since. I'm here to ask the court to please make Tequila and Ursula pay for the pain and suffering that Tanisha endured.
He's asking for his own sister to go to jail. That's deep, dude. That's deep. That, man, if that don't break your heart, man, I don't know that you have a heart pumping in your chest. That hurts to hear that. We did get a couple more donations, so shout out to Yvonne, Cynthia. Shout out to Retire for Life, showing love. Let me make sure. Shout out to my brother Guns. Appreciate that, man. It's been a while. Just thought I'd show some love to the Soda You Dig. Gotcha, Nicole. Appreciate that. Just wanted to show you some love, my brother. I enjoy your content. I really respect what you do. Keep doing your thing and be safe, my brother. DC Native 81 in the chat. Good looking now, brother. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. Thank you. So I've got you guys on here. Hold on. Boom. I think I got another person that wants to jump on here. Let me make sure. I do. Let me see. Hold on, guys. Jeez. My bad. That hurt my ears. My fault. Okay.
Oh God.
What I need to do is I need to send you to the full panel link, okay?
Wait, say that again?
I need to send you to the correct panel link because you were trying to hop on the panel, right?
Yes, but I don't know if it's gonna work because I'm outside building grape arbors.
I hear you just fine. All you got to do is just cut the video feed off, and you should be fine.
Okay, so you'll email me the link?
Yes, I'm getting ready to add you to a different group. When you call me like this, it makes a separate group. So I'm gonna add you into the group that we're already in.
Oh, okay.
All right, I'll see you here in a moment.
Okay, all right.
Sounds good. Let me see here if I can get you added in here. Sorry about that, guys. I know. I'm sorry. So yeah, that's why I say, we got to do it a certain way. If y'all will email me, that's why y'all want to email me. I'm sorry. That hurt my ears. It made my headphones jump. Hey, good looking out, DC Native. I appreciate that. Shout out to DC Native in the chat. Appreciate your donation. Okay, got you in there. So it looks like you guys are ready to start this panel. So let me send a message. Click this link. But don't call in just yet. We're getting ready to open up here in just a moment. I'm going to have to delete that part out of the show, man. That hurt my ears.
She was a child that depended on her mother and partner to take care of her, and they failed. Both of these women need to serve the maximum amount of time allowed. They need to spend the rest of their natural lives thinking of the heartless, senseless, and unnecessary death of an innocent 5-year-old who was loved and wanted by many. Thank you.
Y'all see her looking at her brother? Look at that. Look at the screen right there. I want y'all to notice how she looks at her own brother when he walks off. Y'all notice that? Rick Rooster, let me add you in here also. I think I have your email address already. If you guys have been on the panel before, then I already have your email address and I could just add you. Boom. Oh. All right, you guys bear with me just a moment. As you guys hop in here, I'm going to sign off just for a moment, okay?
Okay. Hello?
So I'm going to sign off just for a moment. This is the actual panel link, so let me make sure and email this out to everybody else. I'll be right back. Don't hang up yet, okay? Can y'all hear me?
Hey, what's going on, DJ?
All right. Can y'all hear me?
Yeah.
I can hear you too.
Okay. All right.
Hey,
All right. I'll be right back.
DJ.
Yeah.
Hey, this panel ain't for me, bro. I can't do this one.
Okay.
I'll listen. Thanks, bro.
All right. All right, guys. I'll be right back. Megan, hold on. Megan, check your email. Check Google Hangouts. I have you in a chat right now. If not, then I will manually send it to you like this. Panel link. Boom. So now you should be able to just click that link right there. Rick Rooster's already on there. Carla. Boom. Josh. Boom. Barry. Boom. Anybody else want the link? Check your email. I sent it to you, Barry. All right. I just wanted y'all to look at her face and look at how she looked at her brother. That's crazy.
Ms. Giles would like to address you on behalf of Rayvon.
Yeah.
Please state your name and spell for the record.
Sierra Giles, SIERRA, Giles, GILES. The trauma that these two women cause is irreversible. There is no apologies that they can give to make this right. Rayvon would deal with this pain for the rest of his life. He lost his innocence in childhood, and everything that was innocent is now gone. Rayvon witnessed the murder. The murder of a child that he considered to be his sister. There is not enough hugs that I can give him to make it better, or can I make his pain go away? Rayvon will forever have the images of seeing Tanaja lay there, lifeless, cleaning blood out of her mouth and performing CPR, while the two adults of the home went on about their day. They forced my baby to become a man at the age of 15. While a normal 15-year-old is supposed to be enjoying high school, he is in counseling for post-traumatic stress disorder and anxiety. After Tanaja was murdered, Rayvon slept with me for weeks and blamed himself for her death. At the age of 15, Rayvon was still a child and should not have been subjected to any of this. He and Tanaja were supposed to be protected by the adults in the home, yet Tanaja was murdered and Rayvon...
That's why I 100% agree with her. Can you still have an interview with Rayvon? Afrodelica, I'm going to say no. I thought about it, and I would love to have asked, but I'm going to say no. You know, because it sounds like he's probably going through a lot. I think just even seeing him on TV was probably enough. Yes, this is this lady to advocate? Yes. Domino, yes. This is the caretaker. Well, she announced herself, but like I said, y'all might not have caught that part. Megan. It shows I have Barry on, Josh. Barry, Josh. Well, you're in the correct chat, yes, and then you have to click the video button to join it. Yep, that little icon up there. If you're on a phone, then click the video icon. If you're in the if you're just in the chat thing on the computer, then you should be able to see that video icon there also. There we go. I see y'all in there. There we go.
It's left with these horrible memories to live with. None of us can imagine the fear and hopelessness these children experience that day.
Yes, you are now on, Megan. I see you. You're in there. Just stay in there. I'll be in there just a second.
11 to 13 hours of uncertainty. Ursula Owens is our son, and throughout his life, he has always held on to the hope that you would get it together. No matter how many times you failed him an empty promise, he still had faith in his mother that you can be the mother that you needed him to be. He fought for you, and when he was the only one fighting, you knew what you did March 17, 2017, and you thought Rayvon would cover for you and continue to fight for you as his mother. You allowed him to come into this courtroom and testify against you. Rayvon needed you to be his mother and to own up what you did, but instead you allowed him to be portrayed as an envious teen and his character questioned. You took the life of a 5-year-old child, took the innocence of our son. I'm happy that the jury saw through the cloud of doubt that the defense attorneys tried to create, and I would ask the court that Ursula get the maximum sentence on all charges to ensure that justice is served for Sanaja, Rayshawn, and Rayvon. Tequila, while I feel sorry for you due to you losing your daughter at the hands of Ursula, I do not feel any sympathy for the possible jail time you are facing. Rayvon needed you to speak up, but most importantly, your daughter, Sanaja McCloud, needed you. I know how manipulative of a person Ursula can be and how controlling she can be, but despite that, Sanaja was your daughter, you was her mother, and your loyalty should have been there. You betrayed her trust and the trust of all children within that home, and for that you deserve whatever sentence the honorable judge hands down. Judge, I do believe it would be beneficial for Tequila to receive mental help and counseling during her jail time. In closing, I would like to tell you about the extent of damages that these women caused. Rayvon is scarred by the abuse he endured at the hands of his mother Ursula and the abuse he witnessed from the time Sanaja came to Cleveland. Throughout his life, he has been beaten with objects, forced to hold pots of water while standing, pushed down a flight of stairs, or trying to intervene for Sanaja while she was being abused. Rayvon has tried to commit suicide on multiple occasions because he carried the guilt of what his mother did. And she have yet to apologize to him or the family for what she did. He wakes up in cold sweats and have nightmares targeted by what he witnessed. Rayvon has been teased, questioned, humiliated by the actions and inaction of these two women. He lives with the guilt of not being able to save his sister when that shouldn't have fallen on his shoulders. We ask that you show them no mercy while you sentence them, because they showed no absolute mercy for Sanaja and Rayvon. Thank you.
Beautiful. That's the caretaker. That's the lady that we had on the phone. Awesome. I love that. Shout out to her. So in turn, Ursula was sentenced to 25 years to life, and Tequila Crump was sentenced to 13 years. So they asked for a lesser sentence, it sounded like. But even Tequila's own brother didn't feel that way, and I felt the same way that he did. Right? So here we go, guys. We're going to go ahead and cut the show right there.